Yes, welcome to Gavin's Good News Vlog. Good start. Welcome to Gavin's Good News Vlog, folks. Thank you very much indeed for being with us, the place to come for all the best of positive, upbeat and happy news around. Now, today's one is about Brexit. Brexit is dominating the landscape here in the UK at the moment and around the world as well, because everyone's quite interested in what the UK is going to do with their relationship with the European Union. You know, they're severing the relationship because they chose to leave in 2016. So they've been squabbling and they've been disagreeing and they've been at arms with each other for a long time now. And it's over this thing called the Withdrawal Agreement. Now, the Withdrawal Agreement, I'm going to go into it in a bit of detail in a moment, but I think that many people don't really I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I just feel that many people don't quite understand what the Withdrawal Agreement actually is and what it actually is that they're arguing about, because there's many things for politicians to argue about and fall out about. This thing at the moment is the most divisive thing going. I still feel that an understanding of what exactly that Withdrawal Agreement is critical. Now, Theresa May, the UK Prime Minister at the moment, she's massively lost control of her cabinet. She's lost 2 meaningful votes now in Parliament, both of them by sizable margins. This has been 2 years in the making, all this. It's all coming to a head right now. The deadlines have just been moved at the time of recording this anyhow, and it's been, what the heck have they been doing for this time? All these indicative style votes which they're talking about at the moment, all this kind of like, how do MPs really feel and what will they be more likely to go for? It's all come down to the last minute, and it's just made us look like an absolute shambles. So what's actually in the Withdrawal Agreement? Well, it's actually the terms of the exit, which is what the Withdrawal Agreement is, and then you've got the political declaration, which is shorter and it deals with future relationship issues, and it's the result of nearly 2 years worth of negotiations between London and Brussels. The deal was approved by the British government and the other 27 EU countries in November of 2018. So the transition period would allow us to still be within the EU and within their terms, but it would run to a period after Brexit until the end of 2020, during which many existing arrangements would still be in place. Now, the UK would still have to conform to EU rules during this period, so the transition can be extended for up to 1 to 2 years, with a decision taken by mutual consent from both parties before July the 1st, 2020. So critics argue that far from taking back control, a key pro-Brexit referendum slogan, the UK would be surrendering effectively to the EU, and it would be outside the EU's institutions with no formal say over rules it would have to follow. Plus side, however, it would avoid a cliff-edge Brexit, giving people and businesses the time, to adapt to the UK outside the EU. So money and rights is a huge part of it as well. Untangling the UK's 46-year relationship with the EU is a huge factor to consider. It establishes a mechanism for which the UK pays the EU to leave, and that's thought to be €40 billion, including payments made during the transition period as well. So a big con of this is that Brexiteers hate it, and it's a shed load of money going to Brussels, going to the EU, with no guarantee on the UK's future. But the EU insists that it's what the UK owes, and not to pay it would damage the UK's reputation. Citizens' rights is another huge part of the Withdrawal Agreement. EU nationals in the UK and UK citizens living in the EU and their families would retain social security and residency. The transition period allows freedom of movement, but the right of British citizens to move around the bloc after the Brexit date is still a bit unclear here. My word, the backstop. I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't hear much about the backstop. Effectively the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland being mentioned much in the Brexit referendum campaigning. I mean, it's the most important issue. It's the one that's causing most of the problems, and yet we're only hearing about it now. Like, how? Ridiculous. How? I mean, beggars belief, really. Just beggars belief. This is what's flawed the plans in the Houses so far, thanks to resentment from the DUP, the Democratic Unionist Party, and the ERG, the European Research Group. They're the main players that are really against some of the plans in the Withdrawal Agreement. So the Withdrawal Agreement envisages a backstop mechanism to guarantee an open frontier, effectively, between Northern Ireland in the UK and the EU member, the Republic of Ireland. The EU have something called a single market and a customs union. Leaving that would mean that we're not in on the EU's terms of trade. The backstop is described as a kind of insurance policy, if you like. Should future talks fail to produce a free trade agreement, it would ensure that no physical border is in place to jeopardise the peace accord between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland after the Good Friday Agreement, which effectively ended decades of violence in those two countries. Now, under the deal, we'd be in a temporary customs union with the EU until at least the 1st of July 2020. Now, this could be extended or it could be terminated, depending on how both parties feel it's going. This has infuriated many Brexiteers, people who want to leave the EU, as it would prevent the UK from applying trade deals made with other countries, so effectively limiting our free trade capacity. The UK government argues that neither the UK nor the EU wants the backstop, and so it's unlikely to last. Northern Ireland would also stay aligned to some EU rules, so it would mean that some checks would be in place between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. Now, the DUP, which is the party which props up the government at the moment, hates anything which sets Northern Ireland apart from the rest of the United Kingdom. So to exit the backstop then, either side can propose a move to a joint committee. The UK can't just up and leave, but the UK says that they can't be trapped unfairly in it. So the notion has really annoyed a lot of the pro-leave camp, and the EU has also said that they don't want the UK to exploit anything with a backdoor customs membership, effectively, so membership via the back door. Legal disputes and other matters. This is a huge element of the withdrawal agreement. So the UK would remain under the jurisdiction, under the control of the European Court of Justice during the transition. Fishing rights as well, that's a huge element really to this. Fishing rights still need to be sorted. Who fishes in what waters? It's causing huge controversy, that. And Gibraltar as well, the territory of Gibraltar, rights for Brits there can't be affected, again, part of the withdrawal agreement. So the EU refused to negotiate or renegotiate the withdrawal agreement itself following the first parliamentary vote, even though the House of Commons voted to send the government back to Brussels to try and seek alternative arrangements, if you like, to the backstop. So a lot of people not happy with the backstop. That's why it's being halted right now. The UK is left with two choices. So April the 12th, that's the date that the UK is set to leave if the MPs don't approve this withdrawal agreement deal. The UK has to say what it wants to do, effectively, if it doesn't get this deal done. It could crash out with no deal and leave the customs union and single market, which businesses think would be a total disaster. Or the UK could go and ask for a further delay to Brexit. It could be months, could be a long time, which would mean still being in the EU, still having to take part in European elections, which are coming up in 2019, midway through 2019. Loads of people don't want that. May the 22nd, that's the date that the UK will leave the EU if Parliament approves this exit deal, this withdrawal agreement. So this is to allow time to ratify everything, and it's a day before voting begins in the European Parliament elections. So what will it take then to get this deal through? What will it take to get this deal through? I mean, it's the million-dollar question, really, isn't it? And perhaps only one man can solve it. No, not him. His former sidekick, this man.
He listened to your proposal and he says, do you know what you sound like? You sound like somebody who believes they've got 35,000 in that box, but who hasn't got the guts to prove it.
So are we going to get this deal through? It feels like it's the never-ending saga of the withdrawal agreement negotiations, isn't it? Under what conditions as well. You might be watching this. Theresa May have gone already. She may have announced she's stepping down. She may have resigned. She might not even be in place. Who knows? No one knows. Maybe you know. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think that this deal's going to, ever going to happen? Do you think Brexit will ever happen? Oh my God, do you think Brexit will ever happen? That's basically it. Will it ever happen? I don't know if it ever will. And do you think Theresa May is going to be Prime Minister till the end of time? Feels like it, doesn't it? Thank you very much for watching. It's been a bit of a ranty one, but I think it needs explaining the withdrawal agreement, so it's technically good news in a way. If not, just have a Google of it, but having a Google sometimes can cause more confusion than it's worth. Thank you very much indeed for watching Gavin's Good News Vlog. This has been a fun one. It's been an enlightening one. Hopefully you've learned a bit. But I'd love to know your thoughts on the withdrawal agreement and how Brexit's been going. Do like, subscribe, hit the share button and comment as well. And hit the notifications bell too. Thank you. I will see you again next time. Until next time, stay positive, keep happy, and have a great day.